Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Teal Podcast, where we talk daily about ways to grow your career. I'm here with Vince. Today, we're going to talk about rejection, and particularly rejection at the front end of the application process. When you've submitted your resume, you haven't even had a chance to talk to anybody, and you get the automatic rejection. And what are some of the things you can do? You've heard about AI and bots and ATS and keywords. So going to talk a little bit about some of the things you can do today. Both Vince and I have worked with tons of job seekers and have seen this day in and day out. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump right in. So Vincent, what are some of the things you recommend when people ask you, like, what should I do to my resume?
I mean, the crazy thing about resumes is people focus on oftentimes the things that don't inherently matter. What I mean by that is I've been asked so many times, do I submit it as a Word document or do I submit it as a PDF? And the truth of the matter is most companies, most modern systems accept both. I mean, if you email something to somebody, they're going to be able to open it. If they download a file out of their ATS, their applicant tracking system, they're going to be able to open it. Other things that I often hear, should it be one page? Should it be 2 pages? Should it be 3 pages? And oftentimes the answer that I share with people is what more matters is what somebody takes away when they're reading the first half of the top of the first page. And so in the past, I think one of the first things, let's unveil this curtain behind the applicant tracking system, right? So in the past, I've worked as on a recruiting team for a Fortune 100 company. And the applicant tracking system is it's an organization system for recruiters. You're working with so many candidates, you're talking to so many people, you're coordinating with so many different hiring managers that's all it does is it organizes.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like it's overblown. Like, honestly, I would be impressed if some of these systems were as smart as people talk about them as being. They're just kind of like straight up keyword indexing. They don't even have synonyms. They don't have like robust thesauruses on skills. And so what I tell people is like, be qualified. Like where I think people make mistakes is they try to take the same resume and send it to 20 different jobs. And that's just not going to work. Like, the line I tell people is job descriptions are RFPs and resumes are proposals. And if you were a salesperson, there is no way you would send the same proposal to 20 different clients. So you actually have to do a little bit of that work to understand what that company is calling out, like literally the specific words they use. Do they use the word customer, member, user? Make those few little tweaks, give yourself a time limit, but you got to customize it a little bit to show that you are qualified for that particular job, because every company thinks that their job is specific. And so just saying that you're a product manager or a product marketer or social media manager, you need to address what that company is looking for in terms of qualifications.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. When you take a look on the company side, on average, every single job posting that's out there's 250 resumes on average for the average company. Like, when you take a look at your quote unquote hot companies, your top employers, that number is going to be even higher. And at the end of the day, one person is going to get the job. And that one person is likely going to be the person that when the company is looking through resumes, whether that's in a more automated way by doing searches within a computer system, or whether that's manually reviewing resumes, the resume that looks like it's a perfect fit, that fits like a glove, is likely going to be one that the candidate, the job applicant, personalized it. They took a little bit of time to understand exactly like what you said, and these things are not secrets. You just go on the company website, you watch their latest investor call, and you'll pick up on these small things like, whether it's companies like Uber and they have drivers on one side, riders on another side, whether it's companies like Disney, where they refer to all of their customers not as customers, but as guests. Those little details matter. And especially going into an interview, this episode is about resumes, but especially going into an interview, being able to use that language, they'll walk away almost being able to imagine you already being on the team.
Yeah. And what I want to leave everyone with is, remember that the resume only has one job. Right? Too many people think that the resume lands you the job. That's not the job of a resume. The job of a resume is to get you an interview. So don't worry about it having everything you've ever achieved. It needs to be the perfect pitch to get you the interview. And then once you get the interview, that's when you actually get the job. So let your resume be this perfect instrument to get you interviews. Focus on that and focus on showing that you are qualified for the role.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good point. And that kind of makes me think about your resume is not the Wikipedia page of your life, right? Whereas a Wikipedia page would have everything that you've done in a lot of detail. You would think that a resume does that because oftentimes it's in chronological order. But most successful job seekers, the best job seekers, have a master resume. And this is oftentimes it's called different things, but think of it as it's a resume that's way longer than what you're actually going to send an employer. And as you look through different job descriptions, you're just deleting bullet points that are not relevant to that job, which then leave you with the bullet points that have the skills, that have the competencies, that have the traits, that have the experiences that ideally that job description is asking about. Or if you're having, informational interviews with somebody at that company, it's related to projects that you may have heard about or work that you may have heard about. And so a common complaint from job seekers is I don't have enough time to personalize a resume for every single job that I'm applying to. And that probably is true if you're writing it from scratch. But if all you're doing is deleting the bullet points that are not relevant, then that's a lot faster.
100%. Completely agree. And so a lot of time gets spent. I see that time and time again. Job seekers, I got to get the resume perfect. Let's go. But by that point, the job's gone. You also got to remember that, these posts stay live for maybe 5-10 days. And that the folks that apply the soonest tend to get better chances. So with that, let's wrap up. We want to try to keep these tight and fast every day, give you tips and tricks. If there's things you can think of, hit us up on Twitter, Teal_HQ. Email us. You can find us in lots of different ways, but we're here to help. Let us know how we can be helpful. And hopefully there was some nuggets for you today. Thanks so much. And we'll catch you on the next one.
See you next time.